Okay, so I'm back here, and some people have been going like, yay, return to doing recordings in the morning. Not quite. My sleep schedule is still absolutely wrecked, and I'm only doing recording because I haven't managed to fall asleep. Yeah. Hope I don't end up having to use sleeping pills here in the future. But anyways, we're gonna work on coding stuff. I have no idea what we're gonna do, but more than likely it's gonna be listener testing. Uh, I did get more work done, slightly bit, registered a few things, but there's some things that aren't jibing correctly. I need to check to see if the processor for the multi-block layout is running. For those who don't know what that is, that's basically this section down here. We're loading that to load our multi-block structure. I need to make sure this is working. I need to make sure a lot of things are working. So we're going to run debug and we're going to just see where this takes us. And hopefully I don't run out of energy mid recording. Really, really hard to predict that now with my sleep schedule being completely bonkers. Especially since I am literally 5 hours away from being awake for 24 hours again. So, yeah. See how this goes. Hopefully I actually do manage to get some sleep somewhere today. I'm gonna try to push as far as I can go, that way I forcibly reset my sleep schedule. That's kind of how I've been managing it for a while now, where you just kind of stay awake so long that your body just kind of fails on its whatever biological thing it does, mechanism, that handles sleep schedules, which I have no clue how that stuff works. I probably should do some research, and maybe the research will tell me what I'm doing wrong. And it probably has a lot to do with my eating habits, watching TV. I've been told before that electronics 30 minutes before sleep time is horrible, and then food a couple hours before bedtime is horrible, and then soda a couple hours beforehand is absolutely a no-no. Though surprisingly, chocolates don't matter. I found that like the most interesting thing is I read an article a couple months ago that's like it's not a horrible ideal a couple minutes before bedtime to eat sugary snacks. It actually doesn't mess you up as bad as it theoretically was set to do. Although supposedly proteins actually do mess you up pretty bad. So much more research I'm gonna have to do on that one before I actually make a conclusion. Right now, the only research I actually care to be doing is to figure out if this stuff's loading. Okay, so I have confirmed that the load JSON handler is running. This is something I just added here literally like 30 minutes ago. We can actually look at the commit log. It was 6:30. Okay, yeah, 30 minutes ago. So this is going to handle loading all of our listeners, all of our processors from other mods. Because right now how it worked is if you wanted to get a processor loaded before Volts Engine ran, you had to run it in your constructor. That's a horrible idea. So what I did is I just implemented a method and I told the content system, okay, before you even do anything, like right after you register your default listeners and your default stuff, go ahead and just call this method and load all your stuff up. That guarantees us all of our processors loaded ahead of time. And I'm going to have to go put this in the Armory mod too to actually fix its loading, because the Armory mod's got some weird loading behavior that doesn't quite hit up right. The only reason it works in the Armory mod is that it gives no at all that guns and stuff are loaded on time. Because you can load a gun pretty much at any phase inside of the Armory mod cycle, and it'll run. It doesn't care. Because the guns are actually just data for items, and the items are already registered ahead of time. So we know this runs. That's good. I was worried if that was not running, because in the proxy we're loading up the render handler for the missiles. So this is running, and it looks like it is handling our layout properly. So our layout is called, okay, this is the standard launcher, so we'll just follow it through real quick and we'll just kind of watch it and make sure it's... Why in the world did that, no, that was a huge delay right there. I guess looking up an enum actually takes some time. Maybe it was loading the enum class file or something, I don't know. There's something in scientific-wise that'll tell me what's going on. That looks good. So this is exactly what you kind of want to see. You want to see the tile you're loading put up in here, and you want to know what the data is. So data is optional, by the way. So that's good. And we'll hit play real quick, and of course it's going to hit on the next object, which is going to be next launcher. And we're just going to... Come on. Debug on that one. And we're going to see if that loads up. So there's no problems with that. The next potential issue is the listener builder, which we're going to go down here. We're going to poke on that. I might be a little too late to capture that, but we're going to see here in a second. Yeah, might be a bit late because this listeners are loaded in phase 1. Yeah, we're not going to see that probably tick off. I'm going to leave the debug line there just in case. But what I wanted to see is I want to see if the listener reflection handling was running properly. Because after all, when these listeners are created, we can actually go and find this real quick. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, when this is created, so we create the listener here. Then if it has data, it runs an injection handler. The same thing we use for the processors, lazy initialization of stuff, pretty much. I know it does work, but it's questionable if it's loading the data in properly. It probably is a lowercase issue. I'm thinking about it now. You know what we're going to do real quickly here? I'm going to go layout key equals layout key dot to lowercase. You know, that should be, whatever, we'll do it this way. Doesn't equal null. If not, we'll just go blark. That'll mean on first tick of our setup, it'll lowercase our key real quick for us. I'll come up with some solution here later to deal with that. Okay, so that ran standard. Okay, so we're gonna dive into this method. Gonna get that annoying. Gonna force us to go through every one of the method things. Okay, go through. It found a. So that I think it was the lowercase issue that was actually the problem. So it just found it found the structure. Oh, it shouldn't have that tag at the end. Oh well. Hopefully the system's intelligent enough to realize that the tag shouldn't be there. If not, we're about to see it crash. Oh, that looks good. Oh, it's running pretty good actually. Didn't crash on that. I'm surprised. Oh, might have spoke too soon. Nope, nope, it's running. Okay. I can hit play and I don't need this anymore because I think it just basically functioned as intended. So we're gonna see if we get multi-blocks. I'll be so happy if we get multi-blocks because that is such a huge piece of functionality that I need to get working because I want to do away with my conventional multi-block system and I just want to go, here's how it works in the JSON system and I want to be done with it. Look at that. And you can see NEI at the top thinks they're all small silo.name. And that means if I right click any of these, I would do the right click event. It isn't right clicking on the top ones. And of course we got our standard silo here, which is not doing it. Oh, these aren't set with their host properly. That's the reason why those are not breaking. Because if we broke that and the host was set up correctly, the whole structure would have broke. The pick block is working correctly, which is telling me that it is functional, but the break event's not working. Okay, I don't need the helper, I need the listener. So right here is what we want. Okay, see what we got going on here. Client's having problems with something. Let me pull up the main screen so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, com.coremod.line33. So be null point exception caused by dep down there. Okay, let's look into that for him real quick before we check this real quick. That way I can get back to him and be like, hey, I can fix that in like 5 minutes. There's a crash report at line 86. Okay, that's dep downloader is where it's having the problem. Line 86. What in the world? So null point exception is what it caught. Line 86, which was called by line 115. Line call start comes down through here. Okay, let me look at this again. Yeah, this only runs on. This only runs if you have a graphics environment. And then if you don't have this property, so you can actually just auto-confirm it if you ever wanted to set up a mod pack where you didn't want to let the user decide if they want to download files. This shouldn't fail though. Well, I kind of find it really stupid. Why would FML instance? I guess it would be null because we're running in core mode. Just do this real quick. Throw new runtime exception. Yeah, I like to just call close, but you can't just call system.exit and with FML because FML will go, hey, you're not supposed to do that, and then it'll go and ASM your file and remove the system.exit, and then your program won't run correctly. Really annoying that they added that. They did that to the print lines too. Like every time you do a print line, it's got this huge debug thing. Do I have any print lines here I can show that with? I do not, actually. But if you did a print line, it would be like, here's the exact class. Actually, you know what? I think, no, this isn't it. This is something else. It's not an instance of tile entity. What are you freaking out about? Multiblock listener is not an instant tile entity. No, that's the reason why our freaking system isn't running when we go to break things is that it's passing back the listener, and the listener's going, you know what, we're not a thing. Um, hmm. Let's see. Since the client's still having issues with this, there's actually a thing we can do. I was about to give him this thing, because if you put this on your thing and you hit yes. Okay, back to what we're doing. So when we call tile broken, some point, I'm probably in this method. Yeah. So this needs to have more info. Multiblock helper. So I don't know why we care for an instance of tile entity. Ah, because we get location data. We don't have to be an instance of tile entity to get this to work properly. So let's get rid of this because we actually don't need this. And what we want to do is we want to remove this part. And we want to go, if host is instance of tile entity, that'll ensure we can just continue using our existing code. Then we want to go else if host is instance of iWorld position. Then we just do it that way. Apparently all the XYZ bullshit is actually important. I don't know why that is not coded this way. Okay, center.yi, center.zi. Oh, come on, I totally typed in I IntelliJ. And my keyboard's failing. I don't know which one of these like fails. At this point, I'm using an $8 keyboard, and I love this keyboard because it's water resistant. You can basically wash it, which means cleaning this keyboard is amazing. You just pretty much take it into a sink and you hose it down. Good. One thing to point out with this keyboard, you actually can't submerge it. It's water resistant, of course, not waterproof, but it is really, really nice. So with this one, we would go center equals new pause host. And we want to cast this real quick. Yeah, I can just cast it iPause 3D. And then we want to go okay, else, return. And we want to then throw an error going. I have, what is it, thus? Yeah, thus. There we go. Yeah, we'll change this to iPause 3D because iWorld position is now an iPause 3D object. And, oh, you know what? Almost overlooked that. That would have been important. This needs to be a location. Then this needs to change to iWorld position. iWorld position. And so does this. iWorld position. And what we're going to do is this is going to be a location, and then we're going to turn this into a location. And we're going to do this with this. What do we actually do with this? If I turn this into the iWorld position, is it actually going to matter? Because then this will save me a little bit of time. It doesn't actually matter. That's cool, because then I can just go equals host. Cast. And then this just needs world real quick. Actually, you know what I could do is I think I could pass in tile entity. So just pass in host here. Yeah, I don't know why this was coded this way. Probably wasn't paying attention when I was making it. Or I probably when I made this is what actually exactly happened is I was like, you know what, we're just gonna simplify this as best as possible. And this is where you get the thing is like, I could literally just do this and then go, oh, I can't do that. I'm disappointed. See, what I was about to do is that if this was a location actually has a set error call inside of it, and I would be, just be able to call that, but it doesn't have that. I think I can do this though. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm slightly disappointed I don't have a method for this. Because what you can do is iWorld position, and then just literally go position dot world. We've made a method for that because that is actually important. Why is there not a boolean for that? Double surprised that there's not a boolean for that. Boolean destroys, I think what that is actually. Yep, destroy. Okay. So we got a thing for that. Yeah, it works. Looks goodish. Probably could be better. Especially this part. You know what? Actually, we could do that. So we're gonna go entry dot get key instance of pause. Then we're gonna go entry dot get key. If not, make a new one. That's gonna save a little bit of memory. Not really much when you consider the fact that we have to do this down here anyways. I know a way to make this more efficient, but I'm just not going to do it right now because I would have to sit there and recode it for several minutes, and it would run better, but it would waste so much time. Well, this should work now. Unfortunately, I did change the method, so we're going to have to reload in a second. I am curious why the onBreak is passing in this. This should actually be get host. Is there any other spots that are like that? I think it's the only one. This should pass in get host, and the reason why this should pass in get host is that you want things to function properly. On tile, yeah, because this sets get host, and this does get host, and the reality of it is I think all of the calls from this right here, so this tile, actually wrapper back to this system here. Good thing they don't infinite loop. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there's not a lot of things going on here. I do need to do destroy structure equals false, because we actually have destroyed the structure, and then return true saying we have destroyed the structure. Or rather, we return true saying we have done something. I don't know. There's a rhyme and reason behind this. There's actually a few missing things in here. I just realized this. There needs to be an on remove call, and there needs to be Yeah, I have a bit of work to do with this set here. So there is an on destroy call, and there's these two need to actually be handled, I believe, and they need to be handled separately. Public void. I didn't really pay attention to how these were implemented, so we're gonna figure this out in like 2 seconds. So what we want to do is we want to create a method called destroy. So we're going to make a protected void destroy. And what I don't want to call it destroy. We just want to remove that set piece and we'll just recycle that. And what this does is this basically runs this piece here. Only problem, we don't need the true part. No, actually we could use the true. Why did I just copy that into that? Nah, whatever. Brain failure here. That's how we're going to call that. So boolean, this will be return false, and I have to copy this whole piece and put this up here. You know what, we're just going to control Z. The reason I'm going to control Z this and redo this in another spot is the only piece we actually really need is that piece, and I just realized that. This will be a will harvest, and yeah, we want to return true here, and put this here, and there actually is some method calls here. So kill host wants to be false, because we don't kill host here, we kill host actually in a different spot. And this will be true. So break block in this exact scenario is what this will more than likely be called by an explosive going off and destroying something, or a mining machine, a query, something like that. You know what the irony of his comment is? There is no spread on the shotgun. There's none. I'm just gonna pretend there is because I don't want to correct him. He's probably firing an HE shell out of that thing and it's just detonating and killing everything around it. Okay. So, this looks good. I actually need to check this again. Kill host, offset, drop, do drops actually is true, I guess. Kill host is false. It looks appropriate enough. So those will handle anytime we break the base of the structure, it'll kill the structure off. I can't think of anything else I need to handle. Oh no, wait, that's already handled, so can place that is handled. I think the item block will auto handle that, so we'll have to check that in like a second. Let's go ahead and kill this real quick, and we're going to relaunch. And we know that runs now. So we just got a few more adjustments to do, and this should be functional pretty soon. I should be able to make a release, although I need to heavily bug test it because it's JUnit system. Now I'm completely out of water. Oh well. I'll go fill that up later. Well, we have video time, 30 minutes, not bad. I am trying to keep these videos pretty short, but we're doing real development here. We're not doing the fake development you see people do a lot of times where they've pre-scripted the whole episode out and they know exactly what they're going to do, and then they cut everything down to the minimum, so you're not seeing any of this launch time, you're not seeing any of the compile time, any of that stuff. And I could technically do the same thing if I actually had editing software that I knew how to use. I really don't. I feel like I'm playing IT. It's like I don't remember how to turn the machine on. It's like you click that big button on the front. I do admit that sentry guns are confusing, and with the missing localizations and stuff, they're actually a little tricky to use, which is what the client's asking. Hmm. So that sentry gun should work. Did it just hit a print? No, it did not hit a line. Okay. Oh, it's unfortunate taking a while to load. I wonder if that is actually ICBM's fault. It's weird. I actually tested his sentry guns like a couple minutes ago, and I know they work. The trick is he using them wrong, or is there actually something wrong? Okay, so that built its structure. It dropped, but it didn't drop the item, and that's probably because I'm in creative mode, I want to say. Because it's actually supposed to behave that way. Oh no, we crashed. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, actually. Destroy structure. Okay, that's just weird because the block hasn't been removed yet. Okay, so we iterated and the host is null, which it shouldn't be. So okay, let's see. So we call, the thing is, remove by player is the super call is what actually destroys the block. So the block should still be there. So what happened here? So let open the crash report up again. So we get a remove by player call. We get the tile host. Why do we need the tile host actually? What is our need for him? Okay. So we're using it to get the layout, and we're using it to get the tile positions. And my headset's running out of power. So we need to plug this in. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we need to do a big null thing here. Host doesn't equal null. And we just need to go, okay, logger, your shit's broken. Okay, so I don't even know why it is, we'll just go tiles null. So actually we want to go so that prevent future crashing. There's a high likely possibility that this gets called before this gets called, and we're going to test that real quick. We'll hit run and we'll hit debug, and then while we're doing that, I'm going to go test his sentry guns real quick. Yeah, I use multi-MC, by the way, for those who are asking, or want to ask, or even care. There's no real preference region why I actually use this. It's entirely just because it works. It works better than the vanilla client. Okay, so you have ammo. Also, you have like a huge stack of empty clips on top of having ammo. Place you down. Why aren't you shooting at? Are you literally aiming at that thing all the way over there? No, you're on like some stupid cycle cooldown. Oh, I think you might legitimately be broken. Oh no, there you go. Come on, shoot at the thing. Okay. I mean, it seems to be functioning, it just doesn't seem to be shooting. Let's get a bigger target, and I set time to night. Time set night, I think is the call? Yeah, there it goes. How could you've legitimately broken it in like the last, like 5 minutes I've tested you? Go get some ammo. Ammo. Clippy thing. Clippy thing. Yeah, something's broken in the sentry gun. Okay, so we know it's broken. We'll have to fix it here in a bit. Oh my god, you're still loading? I figured by the time I'd be done with testing that this would have been done, but we had one large mod into my workspace and just boom, load time goes up. I'm gonna have to start profiling my own mods because the only thing we added was ICBM, and since we added ICBM, the load time just actually went up pretty significantly. Although it's not entirely ICBM's fault, VoltSengine also loads a ton of content when ICBM loads. So if a large mod of mine loads, it does ores, it does resources, it does a lot of stuff, and there's probably something in there that's not running efficiently. Check here in a second. Check my sentry guns too while I'm at it. This is a really cool thing about the sentry guns. We're going to be doing 3x3 sentry guns pretty soon. And I've got this code kind of working. Because multi-blocks are a big part of how this functions. Why are you frozen? Okay. Alright, so we got the structure, and if I break the bottom, what method got called first? So you know what, this remove by player got called before the break block, so my tile entity should still be there. And it is returning a tile entity. And if we go back in it, my host is not null. So this is perfectly fine. This is the part that failed probably. Why did you get called twice? Oh yeah, because you get called on the client and server. That's why it's called twice. I'm gonna remove the null check down here, or this statement here, because I know why exactly it actually did what it did. So if we place our silo and we break it, yeah, it's functioning perfectly fine now. So that's a pretty huge feature there, is ensuring that those actually do what they're doing, and if we get like a bigger structure, it works. Oh, that's so nice. It'd be so nice to finally get rid of all of my multi-block code and just move it to JSON and be like, this is what your structure looks like in JSON. And then if some kind of modpack developer gets really, really creative and he wants to change what the structures look like, he can fully do it. If he wants to decide that these silos are now 3x3s, he actually can change that through the JSON content. And I don't care. He can do whatever he wants. As long as he supplies a model that fits the 3x3 and he adjusts the logic to properly fit it, like there's render logic that needs to be fixed. Yeah, render logic failure. That's the reason why when I go up like here it disappears. There actually is 0 render logic right now designed for the JSON system. That's something I'm going to have to implement. The next thing I want to implement though is I got to fix the right-clicking behavior. It said it right-clicked, so what we need to do, I got to go remember where the hell this is at. And apologies for the language, not that I really care, but saying it every so often does at least make things slightly better, I guess. I don't know how all that works. I'm too tired to care. So content, launchers, probably abstract launchers where this is at. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. Pretty much. This is the activated thing. Okay, put a break line there. We're not getting a call. We are an activation listener. So why am I not getting my right click behaviors? Only thing I can think of right now is something is capturing the event before I'm getting it. So I need to go find the block, and then we're going to go toy with the block real quick and see why it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So that would be framework, block base. And it's one of the listener calls in here. It's one of the ones that's near the bottom probably. Okay, here's the mess of the beautiful right-click system. I use beautiful in a really loose term. Oh, you're a GUI tile. That's why. What says you are a GUI tile? Which one of the stupid pieces is saying you're a GUI? Oh god, it's right there. Okay, I have a fix for this. Okay, where is my code? Okay. So how we're gonna fix this is, it's dumb, but it'll work. So we go object O equals tile dot get server element, and then we're gonna quickly do this too. We're gonna go int ID equals, and we're gonna go if ID is greater than or equal to 0. That's gonna be our first check, and then we're gonna go if O doesn't equal null. So if you don't return a container, then you don't open. This would be ID, and then I think player is what you pass in. Yep, that works. So what's going on is that Abstract Launcher has a GUI system built into it. In order to open up the settings for the silo, you cannot right-click to open up these settings for the silo. And it's a really important detail that is completely missing, and I need to implement a listener for this because this is exactly why the listener system exists, and I need to get rid of this whole thing. So we need to go like to do move to listener to prevent usage of IGUI tile in special cases. The dumb thing though is that the IGUI tile system is meant to be like an easy button, is what it's exactly meant to be. But we're going to turn it from an easy button to a little bit of assembly required. But this should fix it temporarily. And if I get out of my debug line here, it should adjust itself. Okay, we got our event call now. So it should work now. Hit play. Missile added. I can remove the missile, so we know the missile's there now. The part that's now failing is most likely the packet code, but we're probably going to hit that in another video because we're at about 50 minutes. So I'm going to call this an end, and I'll be back after I get some food and tea, and hopefully I don't fall asleep.